Welcome to Vsb News Online for Wednesday, February the 25th. I'm Charles Webb. There was opposition to government's plans to reintroduce voting for business owners in the Corporation of Hamilton elections in May when the bill was presented in the Senate this morning. It was eventually approved by 7 votes to 4, with independent Senator Joan Dillis Wright siding with the PLP. Even independent member Senator James Jardine, who spent 18 years on the City Council, had his doubts.
I think what the 2013 amendments did, and certainly carried on into this amendment, it's provided the opportunity for residents in the city who may not pay taxes but actually live in a residence in the city to have a vote, have a say in what goes on in the city, and so they should. I think what's important too is that we have now given the voting franchise back to the business people as well. They call the business ratepayers, because over 99% of our tax revenue from the city came from those business ratepayers, whether it was Front Street, Reed Street, or indeed the north of town. And so all of those people had their vote taken away from them. It's now coming back, which is as it should be. There will be proportional representation in terms of the residents being able to elect their councillors and the businesses being able to elect their councillors. The one problem I see with that, having served on the corporation, is that the elected members of the corporation should serve everybody. They shouldn't just serve one group in the city. And certainly when I was on the corporation, we were responsible for everybody, not just the ratepayer, the business ratepayers, but also the residential people. And I think and I hope that the corporation doesn't lose sight of that, and the people that are going to run in the corporation elections in May bear in mind that they should represent everybody in the city and not just the sector that elected them.
So we're moving backwards in a way?
Well, I'm a little concerned that what might happen is that you'll end up with factions on the corporation arguing over issues which, if they were representing everybody, may not occur. And I think it's important that those people that get elected should represent everybody in the city and not just those individuals who elected them, whether they be the business taxpayers or the residential taxpayers.
Making her maiden speech, new government Senator Georgia Marshall said it was democracy in action to see the vote returned to the city's business after it had been taken away in 2011.
What we've seen is, a swing of the pendulum over the course of the last, say, 5 years. We started with a position where we had a very strong business vote and not a very strong residential vote. The former government did away with the business vote altogether and completely disenfranchised the businesses in the city. I think that was a mistake. I think it's proven to be a mistake if we just have a look at how that's worked out for us all. I need say no more on that. This government is committed to ensuring that all stakeholders get a chance to make their position clear and to have a voice in our democracy. And I think that the legislation as amended will strike a balance. Of course, there's going to be teething pains. Of course, we're going to have to, make sure that it works properly and how it is intended. But it is a far cry from, what we've had since 2010. I certainly am a proponent for a piece of legislation that is a living tree and that can meet the needs of a community as the community changes. So, I'm sure that in the city of Hamilton in particular, we're going to see that pendulum swinging more towards residents than it now is. And I think that the legislation as drafted will accommodate that kind of a shift.
But opposition leader Senator Diallo Riban was disappointed to see the pendulum swinging back again in favor of the businessman and to the detriment of the residents of Hamilton.
But I believe this particular act is swinging the pendulum too far in the other direction, because what we're ending up with is a business vote that potentially can be multiplied depending on if you own businesses throughout the city, versus a residential vote that could be suppressed because. And I think I did it quite simply when I said the way the legislation is written, if you own a building but you don't occupy it, if you own a commercial building but don't occupy it, you still get to vote. If you own a residential building but don't occupy it, you don't get to vote. And I challenge the senators to ask themselves and to answer that question. And the question was never answered. Why, how, in what way does that make it fair, a fair system, if all of us are arguing that the system needs to be fair and make sure everyone is enfranchised that actually has property within the city. The other incident that we talked about was the multiple voting, and it's a play on words. When they say, well, only one person can register and vote, but if they have multiple businesses, they can proxy someone to vote for those businesses. Now, if you own 10 businesses and you proxy 9 people, what are the chances those 9 people are not going to vote the way you want them to vote? So essentially, you have 10 votes.
With the mind's eye picturing helicopters and drones buzzing overhead and sleek limousines purring along Front Street, it was not hard to agree with Senator Jeff Barron's prediction in the Senate today that we really haven't grasped the enormity of what the America's Cup will bring to Bermuda over the next 3 years.
They're going to identify a sponsor brand to come down here, and 80 of their limousine-sized vehicles will be used, which is why the specific license for public service will be required for those who are willing to be drivers. So, look, whether it's a driver, whether it's a boat tour operator, whether it's an entrepreneur who wants to open up a small truck shop, where they're selling food out of a truck. There's so many different things here that we can begin to discuss. And the challenge, frankly, for the One Bermuda Alliance government is to tell the story, connect the dots for everyone, because that is critical right now.
Now, if somebody who wants to do something involved with America's Cup, but who's local, using local resources, wants to have the law or the rules changed for him because of the job that he's got, like not paying customs duty if he brings in a special vehicle to help, is he going to be listened to with sympathy?
Well, I think the starting point for that person is to contact the ACBDA, the America's Cup Bermuda contingent. So you can find their information online. They have a website. That's the starting point for them. But of course, again, we certainly want to foster that encouragement. Anyone who wants to get involved, we think ought to. And whether it's a realistic and usable trade or skill set, then we really have to make sure that we're doing all we can here to put on a world-class event for the globe to see, and making sure that we're showcasing not just our pristine beaches but our people as well, and we intend to do that.
So when you start talking about 5 helicopters and drones and things, we've really moved up a step here, haven't we?
Indeed, and I certainly don't have a helicopter license, so I suspect there'll be some pilots who are shipped in to do that. However, this is going to be quite a scene, and it's not a Super Bowl. It's not a 3-hour event. This is weeks and weeks of prep and weeks of a post-event. So it's a really exciting thing, and frankly, I have not yet absorbed. I don't think many people have just how big this is going to be for Bermuda.
Finance Minister Bob Richards has come to the conclusion that Bermuda's 60-40 rule for overseas investment has outlived its usefulness and should be abolished. He shared his views with an audience at the Chamber's budget breakfast.
I think the 60-40 rule is hurting us now, today, overall. Whether or not it should be abolished across the board, I think is a much more difficult question. Like a lot of things that I've discovered is that it's fairly easy to identify the problem. Identifying the solution is not so easy, and is a lot more complicated. So, I mean, just in terms of the philosophy, I think the 60-40 rule is an anachronism. How we get from where we are today to a more open markets and more investment in business, because I think 60-40 is inhibiting investment in Bermuda. You can't expect, I mean, I used to work for a bank once upon a time. That was a 60-40 bank. And it was, the 40 was owned by Bank of Nova Scotia. And Bank of Nova Scotia was, even though they're a 40% owner, They were putting up all the money. They were putting up all the expertise. And eventually, they said, enough already. We're out of here. We can't put up all the money, all the expertise, and only get 40% of the profit. It's not right. So they left. And that was a lesson to me about 60/40, and that was 35 years ago. Right. So, that kind of formed my opinion of 60/40. Now, how we get to more open markets is more complicated, because we want to be able to have local entrepreneurs have a chance to compete.
There's an old saying that Bermudians are some of the smartest people anywhere. But don't tell that to Sir John Swan. In his last of a two-part interview, the former Premier bluntly said what he thinks of the so-called smartness of Bermudians.
We are not so smart. We're smart. We can be sarcastic.
We're smart, rude smart.
And we can be rude smart. But when it comes to smart of understanding the outside world and how it works, I think what we were at one stage, tolerant smart. We were more tolerant, and therefore we embraced more people that brought the smartness into us. We're less tolerant, and we've seen some of the consequences of that when we saw some of these companies either putting their headquarters elsewhere or moving some of their business elsewhere.
Well, can we be more tolerant and embrace this thing and move forward
As long as we bring up a generation after generation feeling as though that they're being hard done by one group or the other group, and that they're not looking out for our interests, and that they're going to take something from us, or they earn more than I earn. I have never seen, and that we don't want trickle-down economics. I've never seen economics trickle up. You? The only thing I saw trickle up was some water that was being heated in a well, and it came up because of steam. But I mean, reality is that we've got to sort of embrace the world and get a piece of what the world offers if we want to survive.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
In an effort to make Bermuda's roads safer, and in partnership with Bermuda Police Service and the Bermuda Road Safety Council, Defense Broadcasting is launching a safe driving campaign, complete with thumb bands. Come into Defense Broadcasting and 94 Reed Street and make the commitment to drive safer and slower for yourself. Your voice could be featured on the radio. Get yourself a thumb band as a reminder of your commitment to drive safer and with fewer distractions. While you're at it, why not get one for someone in your life who also needs a reminder that our roads do not discriminate. They can take anyone's life. Let's drive safe, Bermuda, and arrive alive. Peace and love. Safe journeys.
Bermudians in search of job opportunities converged on the Elbow Beach Hotel today for the Department of Workforce Development and the Bermuda Hotel Association's Career Fair. Andrea Haffer, Director of Human Resources at Rosewood Tuckers Point, talks about some of the opportunities available in the hospitality industry.
The prospects are quite wide and varied. There are jobs from entry level to supervisory to mid-management, and of course there's executive positions as well. So we're here to present the career opportunities and the career pathways that are available in the hospitality industry.
So are there any positions at your hotel?
Yes, we are hiring at Rosewood Tuckers Point. All of the properties that are represented here today have posted their available positions on the job board for candidates who would like to apply.
Now, there are an awful lot of people who do not have jobs. At the end of this exercise, what can they anticipate?
The vacancies are posted on the board, so there is some hiring taking place, and we are expecting that out of this career fair, we will meet prospective candidates for our jobs.
Some of the attendees tagged the career fair as just another public relations exercise, to which Judy Lowe-Terrett of Workforce Development responded.
I would like to highlight that, we have not advertise this as a job fair. It is a career fair. While there are opportunities currently available that are present and listed on our job board, the exercise today is more so to showcase the opportunities that are currently available in hospitality, also career opportunities that are forecasted to be available. We anticipate that there will be some growth in this industry, and we invite individuals to come down, meet the current representatives from the various properties and talk about what opportunities are currently available.
Let it never be said that Tony Frederick is a creature of habit. Every year for 40 years, the New Hampshire salesman has been coming to Bermuda and staying at the same guest accommodation, Kingston House off Pittsburgh Road. And it's not a habit he seems in a hurry to break.
It was prior to 1975 that my wife and I had come to Bermuda, and we just liked the lifestyle, the easygoing, happy people, friendly people. So it was always, and it was close. That's another issue. And so every time we would get a chance, we would try to steer things down here. And I had come down here on business prior, and then I decided to run a seminar down here, and that cost me a lot of money. I underestimated my costs, but I had a big turnout. It was terrific, and it was just a great place to come to.
Have you managed to sort of entice any of your friends to come to Bermuda for the close proximity?
I pass out cards for this house because they take excellent care of me, and so I want to create business for them, and so I do pass out their business cards and tell them, if you plan to go to Bermuda, this is the place to stay. It not only is a magnificent home, it's got every accommodation you could imagine, but it's walking distance to downtown where all the action is.
And now you've got 41 years. How much more time do you plan on coming back to Bermuda?
This has to be one of my standard calls, if you will, until I die.
And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
The Bermuda Olympic Association announced that Katora Horton-Parent-Chief has been named to the Women's and Sports Commission for the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees, which make up CANOC. Horton-Parent-Chief, who is a BOA board member, chair of the BOA Athletics Commission and the BOA Women in Sports Committee, will represent Bermuda and the BOA on the CANOC Commission until 2018. Ishmael Miller scored his first goal, and Naki Wells also found the back of the net for Huddersfield as they defeated Reading 3-0 last evening to end a run of 3 championship matches without a win. Town, who had failed to win any of their previous 3 outings at the John Smith Stadium, had Alex Smithers to thank for ensuring Harry Bunn's early bullet header was the only goal of the first half dominated by the visitors. Reading had celebrated impressive victories at Wolves, Derby, and Ipswich in February, but their hopes of adding Huddersfield to that list were effectively ended when Wells punished a mistake by the Reading defense. For the 3rd consecutive year and 5th in the last 6, Tahira Butterfield's University of Albany's women's indoor track and field team won the American East Indoor Championships. Butterfield finished 11th overall during the women's 60-meter dash, lowering her previous best time, clocking a time of 7:81. Butterfield finished second in Heat 1 of the women's 200-meter dash with a time of 25:74, which saw her finish 14th overall. The Women's Futsal League season continued inside the Work Academy Gymnasium on Saturday evening with a total of 52 goals scored in 3 matches. The game of the evening saw the PHC Lady Zebras overcome a determined Dandy Stars team 6-3. Aliyah Nolan led PHC to victory with 3 goals, while Jessica Furtado added 2. Kayla Hollis added the other. Kyla Ramata scored 2 goals for the Dandy Stars, with Tiara Smith scoring the other. In other women's futsal action, it was the CP Chicas winning 28-1 over Young Men's Social Club. Somerset Trojans won 11-3 over Hamilton Parish. Turning to netball, the North Village Lady Rams defeated the Young Men's Social Club Baby Bluebirds 10-7 in under 12 division action. The Warriors defeated the Nets Greens 32-13. In under 16 division play, the North Village Lady Rams defeated the Sidewalk Nets 27-20. The Young Men's Social Club Bluebirds Juniors defeated the Data Tech Nets 16-14. The Young Men's Social Club Bluebird Youngins edged PHC 12-11. In senior league play, the Young Men's Social Club Lady Bluebirds defeated the Young Men's Social Club Blazing Bluebirds 49-44. The Sidewalk Nets won 56-35 over the North Village Lady Rams. The WWC Pink Panthers defeated the Young Men's Social Club Bluebirds 42-36, and Data Tech for Tees defeated the Bermuda College 58-9. Ashley Airwood was one of the Denison women's swimmers who competed at the Kenyan Fast Chance meet in an attempt to improve her NCAA qualifying times one final time before entries are released for the 2015 NCAA Division III Championships. Yearwood finished fourth in the women's 200-yard backstroke, clocking a time of 2:16.64. Kate Taplin began competing at the Velaroma Atlantic Tour horse jumping event in Portugal. Competing in the 1.10-meter small tour table A against the clock class, Taplin, riding Navantas, finished 37th, clocking a time of 81.98, and they had 6 penalty foul points. Nottingham Wildcats bounced back from their first league defeat of the season with a convincing 70-50 win over Janaea Wade-Frey and her Brixton Topcats teammates in Women's British Basketball League action. Wade-Frey played 30 minutes of action, scoring 12 points. She went 3 for 8 from the field and 2 for 11 from behind the three-point line. Wade-Frey had 4 steals and 2 turnovers. Jason Shrub and his Bates men's squash teammates went down 7-2 to Princeton in the Holcomb Cup B Division quarterfinals at the CSA Men's Team National Championships. Shrubs went down in straight sets, playing in the number 4 position, 11-7, 11-4, 11-6. The Bermuda Winter Volleyball season continued inside the Warwick Academy Gymnasium and the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium. The first game on Net A in the Warwick Academy Gymnasium, it saw Hit Me With Your Best Shot defeat the Bogle Fight 25-13. Chengo then defeated Bogle Fight 25-16, and Bogle Fight's winless run on the night would end in their next match when they defeated the Diggs 25-19. Over on Net B, also at the Warwick Academy, the Chengos defeated the Diggs 25-20. Diggs defeated the Hot Sacks on the Platter 25-20, and the Hot Sacks on the Platter then defeated Hit Me With Your Best Shot 25-22. On Net C, over at the Cedar Bridge Academy, the See You Next Tuesdays defeated the Alphas 18-9 in the opening match, while Smash defeated the Alphas 18-10 in the second match. Smash then defeated the Russian Revolution 18-8. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Thursday, February the 26th, there will be sunny breaks, winds will be southwesterly and moderate, increasing strong with gusts to gale force by the afternoon, easing slightly overnight. We are expecting a high of near 72 and a low near 66. This weather forecast is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Well, thank you for watching VSB News Online for Wednesday, February the 25th. I'm Charles Webb.